Josh Miles, my vote is for Kara Hendricks. She has been a constant leader in the band program. She has been the drum major for many years and has constantly sat at the top of her selection. She exhibits her best of herself and accepts the same from her peers. Don Prandtl, CHHS debate state champion. I think that deserves a round of applause. If you didn't hear, she won Lincoln Douglas debate down in Austin. We are extremely proud of her. Because what you don't realize is we go down there and we have to compete not only against public schools but also private schools. And many times those private schools can have 2 and 3 hour classes where they practice debate, which we don't get the privilege of doing. And I'm just happy she went down there and looked up on them. So thank you for that. So, in addition to being an exceptional student, Kara thinks critically, very quickly, and is an amazing gifted speaker, unlike myself. Kara began debating in the 2nd semester of her junior year and rocketed to finish 3rd in state in competition last year. This year, Kara won 1st place 7 times in competitions leading up to state, including 1st place and top speaker at the prestigious Northeast Texas Debate Association's annual Tournament of Champions. All right. By the time Kara led the Chapel Hill team to win the Lincoln Douglas Regional Championship, hosted at Tyler Junior College, she was already virtually undefeated debating in the spring Lincoln Douglas topic. Resolved, free trade should be valued above protectivism. Thank you. That's why she got eliminated. This means Kara was winning when debating both for and against this resolution. Although Kara is a graduating senior, she plans to continue supporting the Chapel Hill debate program by sharing her knowledge and skills with next year's team. Now, I was happy because I thought that she had no chinks in her armor until today, and I found out something that she's not good at. She's not good at bowling. So. She's like Babe Ruth. She either gets a strike or she gets a kick. On the questionnaire, she put, what is your favorite subject in school? English. So far, what's the best high school memory? Getting a gold medal at state, of course. Insert wiki tag. All right. What are some activities, organizations you've been in or are currently involved in? Debate, band, student council, NHS, FBLA, art club, C-team, one-act play, cheer, literary criticism, and you're going to have to read that one.
Extemporaneous speaking.
There you go, extemporaneous speaking. Who would you say has been an inspiration to you, your hero, and why? And she put Mr. Denard because of his passion. Oh, I'm sorry. Miss Denard, for her passion for teaching, has been the main inspiration for me since the 8th grade. It's been because of her that I have chosen to major in English. What are your plans after high school? Attending Texas A&M Commerce on a full scholarship to major in English, moving on then to become a high school English teacher or go to law school. So, on behalf of Chapel Hill High School, I'd like to present you with this certificate and this gift card to Hastings. Thank you so much for.
Good job, Karen. Your dad told me you've been practicing debate since you were 3 years old. Okay, let's move on to our El Chico Awards. Do yours?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sure.
Voted on by our staff, Ms. Erin Buchanan won for the May Employee of the Month for Chapel Hill High School. It's kind of a bittersweet time for her because you will see that she's turning in her letter of resignation because she's going to be having her 4th child, bless her soul, 3rd girl, and she just feels like she needs to stay home and kind of take care of the family and do that kind of stuff. So, but she's been a fantastic addition to Chapel Hill, and I think it's going to be tough for a lot of the kids when they find out that she's not coming back, because many of the students signed up for the AP classes that she's teaching just because they wanted that teacher. So she's going to be missed. And hopefully she'll get those students up into, or her children up into school, and then she'll want to come back and we can add her back into the family. But she can't be here tonight because both of our sons play on the T-ball team together, and they're playing tonight. So keep your fingers crossed. We're playing a 6-year-old team. Those usually aren't the most fun. So. But our May employee is Aaron Buchanan.
Mr. Clifton, you want to go ahead?
Carolyn Wynn, for our May El Chico Award winner. She is retiring this year after 39 years.
What a trooper.
And I'm leaving not because I'm having a baby.
Thank you for clearing that up.
As you can see, Miss Wynn will also be missed. Mrs. Wynn teaches, Carolyn teaches sixth grade for us, is our department head this year. In a great 3 years that she's been with us in sixth grade, one of the main reasons why we've had such a successful junior high and transition from sixth grade to our seventh grade classes. And just to tell you a little bit about Carolyn and she wrote quite a bit, so you can see that she is a writing teacher. Favorite color is red. Favorite TV show, HGTV's House Hunters. What is your favorite book? To Kill a Mockingbird. Favorite movie? She has several. To Kill a Mockingbird, Shenandoah, it's got Jimmy Stewart, right? And fried green tomatoes. Why did you become an employee of the school? Proximity to the school and the fact that my children attended the school and I wanted to see what kind of education they received were my initial reasons for coming here. I stayed here because of academic excellence achieved and the small school appeal. What encourages you? God, who gives me strength, comfort, and guidance, and my grandchildren, who give me countless hours of entertainment and who lighten my cares. What do you do outside of school, and do you have any hobbies? I have little free time, but I love spending time with my wonderfully sweet and amusing grandchildren. I absolutely love to shop, even if I don't have much money. Reading, gardening, and watching some TV programs can be added to my list of things I enjoy doing. Do you have a favorite quote? If of thy worldly goods thou art bereft, and unto thee 2 loaves are left, so one and with the dole buy hyacinths to feed thy soul. Additional comments, things I like about Chapel Hill: a community where people care about their children's education, small classrooms, small town atmosphere, terrific students, supportive administration and school board, and the best teachers around. I wish my grandchildren could come here. 39 years teaching, 19 years at Chapel Hill, the last 8 years in the 6th grade. Congratulations to Carolyn.
Hey, Jim,
Thank you, Carolyn.
Miss Wynn was my 2nd grade teacher.
Was he worth a flip
Yes.
as a student?
She made it 38 more years after me, Jim.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Vivian Fowler, 2nd grade.
You deserve any accolades they can give you. Very good.
First year of teaching.
Outstanding. All right. Let's move on to UIL Regional State Competition and no, we don't. I'm sorry. Missy. Well, they got me out of order.
Stuart stepped up here and did the El Chico Award.
What?
This next person is, she's really a district employee, but, she was nominated by the district staff, and you have to look quick because she zooms in and out everywhere she goes, and she's got this little magic power to her. Carrie, come on up here. It's amazing, she has taught Carlene to reboot her computer. Yes, Carlene has taught other people. But I will call Carrie, and all I need to do is hear her voice, and my computer is fixed. So, Carrie has got this magical power. But she doesn't only have the magical power of the she's very encouraging, and we appreciate all she does, and the magical powers. Stuart's gonna,
Not only is she handles, all of the network and our computers, she really cares about people. She does a lot of stuff outside of school that really benefits others, and she puts a lot of work into that, so to the community.
I held on to this because I was scared she disappeared again. So good. Thank you very much for it.
Any other recognitions? All right, UIL Regional State Competition results. Who's gonna do that?
We've got golf and one-act play and track and varsity baseball, music, poetry, Lincoln Douglas. They can all come up and we can keep going.
I mean, coach of the state winner. Yes, I don't think they wanted to stand next to him, probably.
I think that I'm probably the luckiest debate coach ever to have had the students I've had. And Kara, it was the fastest learner I've ever seen in my life when it comes to debate. She's a pretty good learner otherwise too, I think. But, in debate, she just picked it up naturally. And I will say this because no one would know unless I told it, but there's a textbook case that is written in the back of the text that we use for the course. And I was going through it and analyzing all the components. Now, Tara actually has never read the book, but when I analyzed her case this year, it had all components, and she did it intuitively. And that's the kind of talent we've had. And not only Kara, but we've had some other state medalists this year. We had 2 teams that medaled at state in policy debate. So, I feel like they've taught me as we've done this together, and I really appreciate our students and the support of the board and the faculty too. Thank you very much.
Tell us, what did the golf people do?
He was here.
Was that?
Here, let me
Oh, you
give you.
don't have it?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
I mean-
we got it all. Here, take this. and then
Our
answer
girls did fantastic. I think Coach Hanks was a little nervous, when, he lost a couple of girls last year, but some of the young ladies stepped up and they did a fantastic job. I mean, they actually won district, which he was, very happy and pleased about, with Ashley Peterson kind of leading the group. Kelsey Lee, Taylor Brown, Emily Swafford, and Candace Brown, they all shot some of the best scores they'd all shot in their careers, and then at the very end, so they were coming on at the very end when they were supposed to, and they qualified. And then the boys team with Mr. Hanzak Sewell, Luke Snap, Tyler Dickerson, Adam Redfern, another group that he felt they did a fantastic job for being young, and many of the students, well, I guess 3 of them played two of them played last year on varsity. Another one was a move-in from another school district, and then the 2 were moving up. So they did a fantastic job at district. I think coach is really proud of them. I do not, unfortunately, I'm trying to think of their ranking, what they were for regionals. They didn't shoot as well as they'd like. I think it was cold and rainy those days that they played in. So they did a great job, though. We're very proud of them. Yeah, and then you have, poetry and prose and one-act play results when they went down to state. And it just, you can read for yourself. I think our kids do a fantastic job, but I want to say this with Mr. Crandall being here. We've got fantastic kids, but it's not just by their natural abilities that their kids get to that point. It's some hard dedication by those sponsors and those coaches, spending countless hours. Nights when I'm up here till 8:30, 9 o'clock, I have to run him out of his room because he's still up here working on things. He's up here constantly challenging himself in his classroom and with the debate program. And I think that that shows in relation to how our kids do every year. He spends countless hours, as well as Miss Joyce. When you look at the one-act play, she's up here continuously challenging those students and giving them opportunity to skill that craft that they work on. They pretty much went the entire gambit owning everybody, and they got down to state and didn't get the results they wanted. I think they came in an 8th place position. It's funny about some of these programs where if you have one person judging it, they might like a different type of play opposed to another one. And the ones that did very well, what she was talking about, were ones that were very colorful, loud, a lot of movement, and ours was more of a drama. And she said some years those do well and some years they don't. But our students can be commended for making it to state and doing as well as they did. And I think Miss All-Star for Miss Hannah, you had Best Actress, Best Actor, and Outstanding Crew that they received along the way. Or no, Max Cox brought home the All-Star cast for the medal. The part that the judge said they appreciated the most was he had to play a drunk scene. And they said he did a fantastic job in it because he didn't overdo it, is what they said. But they're going to, in the next week or so, going to turn their play around and do it for our students as well, because I think that many times those kids get out there and they don't get to show their friends what they get to do and how much time they spend. So I think it's always excellent for them to come back and show our students their craft and the countless hours they spend in it. So we'll be turning around and doing it. What's that? And then tomorrow night, they're performing at the college at 7 o'clock. So we're excited about that. Track, we had 7 regional qualifiers and 10 events. Did well. We have a program that's actually growing. When I got here, it was pretty small. And each year, I see more and more students out there. I see more and more students competing. And I think that's just by the hard work and dedication of Coach Dial, encouraging those kids and challenging them. And we had some kids that came out of nowhere that tried different events and actually started placing, doing well with them. One being Mr. Chase Swan. And then varsity baseball, we're right in the middle of the thick of it for playoffs. So they won their, I guess 5th straight district championship, and this was the first one that was outright. So they were really excited about that. We just played White Oak and beat them in 2 games, and then we're entering into Hugh Springs. So please come out and visit. I'm gonna break out my face paint and my horns and try to see if I've asked Coach to see if I can blow a Zubazali at the games. So
He get a mohawk.
you see this?
Whole team's got a mohawk.
I can't do anything with that. It's like telling Jeff to get a mohawk. We just can't do it. We can do side hops, yeah.
Side
We can do
hops.
the monk look, maybe the Mr. T. But we don't have it.
We don't have it.
We just don't have it. So we can't do it. So the kids asked me to, and I said, you see, it's pathetic. It just wouldn't look right. It looked like I had mange more than anything else. So, but they've done a great job. And then, yes, FFA. What do you want to, just how they've done, or are you doing the overnight trip?
No, they've got all this information.
Okay.
Oh yeah, with Amy Vance. They just did their degree check and speaking contest in Como-Picton. They had 3 students compete, which, we're trying to build that. Chance Chapman, Brianthony Baker, and Mackenzie Bishop. They all did well, and 2 of them are actually advancing to the area contest. So, but they just competed on that. And then the speaking results from Stegall, I'm sure y'all read that, but once again, Chance Chapman was involved in that, and he placed 6th. And Brianthony Baker first in the soil water conservation.
She's going to state.
Yes, and she's actually going to state in that. So, and you'll see in a little bit the overnight trip, and that's why I kind of related these two. With the actual competition will be at the FFA convention in Lubbock. So when you see the overnight trip, they'll be taking that student there for that. So, programs are doing quite well.
All right. Thank you, Brandon.
Sure.
Jeff, you want to tell us about the TASB loss prevention grant?
Might be You better see the district clerk.
Okay.
Did the application.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just a few words, Mike.
Not again. As usual, Butch helped us word the grant, and we submitted it a couple days before the deadline. And we were fortunate to get the grant again this year. Unfortunately, like last year, we were in a meeting when the FASB official came down to present us our plaque, to take the picture. So like last year, we took the picture with Maxine again. But yeah, we got the grant again this year, very proud of that.
Good job, thank you.
We'll do one, if you don't mind.
Miss Amber Cullen, in honor of your work with us through the Tribune. Oh, you got the real one, okay.
No, they've got the real, that's a cop.
What's wrong with that?
Now you know how we feel.
We just want to acknowledge the hard work that you've done out here and trying to put us in a good light in the Tribune and out to the community, and we just appreciate everything you do.
Did you get a picture?
No, you haven't taken a picture.
Pretty smooth on your part. All right. One more. Yeah, use it up.
All right, good deal. Very good. All right. That's right. All right, let's move on to our consent agenda. I hope everyone's had an opportunity to take a look and see, and ask any questions of those persons that you needed answers from. If everyone is in agreement, I would like for a motion to approve the consent agenda. Okay. What is it? Well, I didn't add it all up. You got it? We're four short on.
I was sure early childhood. You're four and you're early.
Yeah, that's it. Is that not supposed to be
Yeah.
counted? They're not counted because that's what I was asking. They're not.
They're chalky and they're not.
What page is it on?
Thank you.
38.
Is that there?
That's the reason for that? 38? All right.
Yeah, early's not in it, and that was the.
That was the total.
Yeah.
Okay.
You passed the test, bud. How was the test?
Good, that was your test. Good job. bud. Good to have a numbers guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still do. And since you did that, you can go ahead and make the motion.
I would move that we accept
Second.
the consent agenda.
Becky, all in favor? 100%, thank you. All right, let's move on to our action items for tonight. First item is going to be the overnight trips, Mr. Brandon Denard. Is there only one?
There's two.
Two?
What's the other one? Is it
Cheer and
junior
FFA.
high?
Cheer and
Yeah.
FFA.
Okay. Well, for mine, it's the FFA State Convention that, I just talked to y'all about in Lubbock. And you just have the rundown of basically what they're gonna be doing, and then y'all wanted a more detailed report of basically how many students, where they're staying, what the rooms rate were, and all that kind of stuff, and then the list of students coming. So, and then down at the bottom, it has what sessions they'll attend as well.
There's one number on here. 481.20 per room.
Let's go ahead and hear the other one first, and we can do them both at the same time.
The junior high cheerleaders and the mascot, request to make a free night from July 14th to July 16th for a cheer camp that's to be held at SMU. It's called the National Cheerleaders Association Cheer Camp. It would be all our returning and new junior high cheerleaders that would be attending. I think all the information's on there as far as the logistics and the name for the students and sponsors.
I read that, they're just asking for our approval, so they don't look like they're asking.
No, they're all paid for that.
It's like they're raising, parents are paying them, and they're raising money.
But they will be taking the school home.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? 100%. Mr. Thompson made a good suggestion, I thought, in our pre-meeting, that in the future, assign the administration a form to put together so that we could approve these as part of our consent agenda, so that we won't have to make these guys.
As long as there's money in their budget or all
Right.
those things have been taken care of. I don't know why we need a production, I guess, if you will. You know, y'all are old. Let's.
As long as you've got something like this you're looking at.
Yeah, I think these are great. These are very clear, you know, that there's gonna be adequate supervision, the money's somewhere,
Well,
and kids are gonna have a positive experience.
If you have some questions regarding those trips, you could ask them before the meeting, just like anything else on the consent agenda. And we can always pull it out if we need to discuss it. So, do we have a consensus that we would like the administration to put that together? Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. Mhm. All right, let's save a little time. All right, let's move on. Instructional report, Mark?
I've asked Ms. Norwood, we've got about 7 or 8 reports within this, and I think we're gonna ask the principals, is that right, from summer school first, and then maybe Mr. Burt, and then we've got some reports to give, okay? All right. You have all of this, it's a little bit out of order, but I believe the principal's gonna talk about what's going on for summer school first.
We're doing summer school. When I first got here, we didn't really do summer school at the high school. We started pushing it, and what it seems happened is we've been able to free up some people in the internal schedule of the year, so we're not having to teach as many on-track classes or credit recovery classes, because we're making it a requirement for those students to take summer school before they're eligible to do an on-track class. We didn't want them to just blow off a class and then feel like they can go take it on a computer or something like that. We wanted to take some of their time, and so what's happened is we've had some students really get after classes, and our on-track is virtually almost non-existent. The program is gonna be, it'll start the Monday right after we get out, and it'll run through right before July 4th. It's Monday through Thursday, 8 to 2, a 30-minute break in there for lunch. It'll be one teacher for us. Our major class that most students make up is math, so it'll be a math teacher, to be in there to get some instruction. If students are struggling with the classes, I always call a teacher, and they might come up for a day or so here or there, kind of work with the kid or students if they need to. But that's pretty much our summer school. So, and we provide the in-district transportation. That's what we've done in the past.
Are we gonna try to consolidate that summer school where we're only using part of the building?
We only have one classroom that we use for the high school,
Oh.
so the rest of it's shut down. We just have one classroom that those kids come to.
Basically, our summer school is gonna run the same time period, June 6th through 30th, Monday through Thursday. So, we'll have 2 groups of students that will be attending summer school. SSI students are those that did not pass the second administration of the math or reading tax test. You'll have to give them some sort of intensive intervention to prepare them for the third administration of the reading and math tax test. Then we'll have normal summer school for all, those students traditionally go to summer school who have failed 2 core classes, and they will have to go to summer school in order to promote to the next grade. The 2 classes that we're going to offer will be reading and math, and we will have 2 teachers, because we have to have a math teacher for the SSI students who will also help with the students that are having to go to the traditional summer school for promotion. We'll also have a reading teacher that will serve the same function, and we have basically the same format we've had the last several years. We will charge $150 for students to go to summer school that are those that are having to take it for promotional purposes. If they cannot afford the $150, we'll make arrangements somehow that they can go ahead and take summer school if their parents cannot afford that. Of course, the SSI students, we have to serve them, so they won't be charged. I believe we're all using this kind of same, follow the same bus schedule as elementary summer school, so that we can save costs that way. If students need to ride the bus to school, they can ride the bus.
Ditto. We have about 60 to 70 students who will be attending summer school. We have to offer it for our students coming into kindergarten or going into first grade, our ELL learners who want the summer school. We have to offer it for them, and we have to offer it for our SSI students. The summer school is run through our 21st Century Grant, otherwise known as the ACE grant. And like I said, it's 65 to 70 students, and it will be from 8 to 2 academics that morning, from 8 to 11:30. And then enrichment that afternoon, we'll go and do gardening units and other things that afternoon. And we'll have 6 teachers and 4 aides, I believe. The aides will be doing that afternoon, and like I said, all of this is funded through the 21st Century after school grant, which will be one way.
What's the plan for next year if that grant goes away?
Well, we'll have to start working on it. There's just stuff that needs to be done this week. And, there's a small glimmer of hope that they will go back into negotiations with the institution. And then it might still be the grant, but we'll have to, like I said, we have to service the students who are coming into kindergarten and into first grade for our ELL learners and then our SSI learners. But we will come up with something.
Any questions on any of those guys?
Mr. Clifton and Mr. Nard, I'm just curious, are y'all, I mean, those classrooms, to minimize, how many, each classroom have an individual unit, or,
Yes, sir.
okay, so,
We do HVAC.
okay, that's what I was unimpressed. I just want to be sure that,
And they can program it to where all the other ones are off, and
Okay.
just that classroom's on.
well, I was under the assumption that was correct, but I know y'all can verify it. Okay, good. That's,
Is the junior high and high school funded by the same grant?
That's the reason why we share transportation, so the grant can,
Covers the transportation.
well, it helps. It helps.
Is that something that's typically offered to summer school students as transportation? Is that kind of known to? I'm just asking, I'm not running any of those. Is that
December timeframe, we decided to switch off of our current hosted email and website solution called eChalk. One reason for the cost, another reason for the kind of the limitations that eChalk has. So we looked into two different products that's going to be able to provide our website and our email. eChalk provided both. The first, our email, we're switching to Google, or we have switched to Google. All of you will get Google accounts in June. Our teachers switched in February. One big advantage to Gmail is eChalk provided 100 megabytes of space. Google provides 7,500 megabytes of space. Another big advantage is the cost. eChalk costs about $7,500 a year, and that's after the E-rate subsidy. Gmail costs $0 per year. So it's a big cost benefit there too, if you compare it to how much space you're getting. We were having constant problems with teachers filling up their inboxes, and then, they wouldn't be able to receive email until we told them, hey, you need to empty your inbox. Now, you can keep emails for years and never delete and not run out of space. So they do provide that to schools for free. John and I were talking earlier. I don't foresee them ever deciding to charge. They could in the future, but it's been around for a while for education. It is $50 for businesses per user, but it's free. For the only limitation that we have with Gmail right now is they only allow us 10,000 accounts. So,
Bummer.
Only 10,000?
only 10,000 accounts. So
Are we gonna be able to hold it down?
I think so, yeah.
Lashing.
So, you like that? So that's our email. Not only is it email, but it's also our calendar. Our district calendar that Dawn puts in is actually is a Google Calendar. Any parent that goes to our website, and I'll show it here in a second, can actually go and subscribe to that calendar and put it in there if they have a Gmail account, and they can see everything that Dawn adds to that calendar as it's added. So any district event or activity is pretty much placed on that calendar. She's the only one that has that privilege. So if a teacher said, hey, we've got this event coming up, I'd like it on that calendar on the front page, they just go to Dawn and ask her for that permission. So that's Google. They also provide the documents, Google Docs, which a lot of our teachers have started using, which is a Microsoft Office replacement. So that'll save us money in the future of not having to buy quite as many Office licenses, which for education is about $70 a computer. And this you get for free. So PowerPoint, Excel, Word, all of that's included. So that's the Google Gmail part. Our website, we went with a solution called Joomla, which is a open source website host. We don't actually host it ourselves physically. We pay about $7 a month for our web host, and they provide CHISDDevils.com, so you can put a middle note there. That is our new domain name. Chapel Hill everything was taken, so we tried to get chapelhill.com. That's taken. The only one that was available was chapelhill.asia. We decided not to go with that. So
What was that again?
CHISDDevils.com.
CHIS.
Yeah, two D's in the middle.
Devils.
So that's going to be our new website. Starting June 1st is where we're going to roll over to that. eChalk expires June 30th, so we're going to have a 30-day window where we, teachers and everybody can kind of get all that stuff off. We'll start redirecting people from our old website to the new website on June 1st. So you go to the eChalk on June 1st, it'll say, click here to go to our new website, and it'll redirect them, just to kind of get people used to going to that. But this is it. Along the top, we have all the different, this home, of course, departments. You can go to any of the different departments and actually see who those people are. So if I click on curriculum, there's hang on. Under administration, that's for the departments. Food service, you can see all of the food service departments, and with relevant links. Right now, the only relevant link for food service is the menu. If we ever decide to go to where you can add money, we'll have that link there. So we've tried to organize it the best we can. Carrie Otmer has worked tirelessly. She's worked really hard on this website. As soon as we decided this is what we're going to do, and Jeff and I spent a couple months kind of experimenting and deciding how we wanted to lay it out. we set Carrie loose, and she's really done a great job getting everything moved over to the new site. And putting a lot of stuff on there that we didn't have on the old site. We didn't have the ability to do stuff. Campuses, each campus has their own page with relevant links. The quick links, this is just, stuff for parents, to be able to quickly get to. Group pages for those individual groups. So if we have a student group that wants to have a page, this is where it would be. And then contact us. This has the employee directory, which is every employee in the district, and then like a view a map to where if you want to know how to get to Chapel Hill, that's how you do that. I'm going to show you just a quick example of one of the pages that we've been working on and how the teachers can kind of integrate it. If you click on first grade, of course, it'll show you who the first grade teachers are with their email addresses and with relevant information like their room number. It also has their lesson plans, which is a Google Calendar. So it's linked to a Google Calendar. And then their snack calendar, which is important in the first grade. Two things, lesson plans and snack calendars.
Jim wants to know if you can make his computer at home run this fast.
Yeah.
I can try.
We're gonna have a completely different internet.
At home doesn't run this fast.
No. It's the internet. It's bad. The one thing that you may not notice is that this page with their pictures is actually an embedded Google Doc. So our teachers don't have to learn how, they don't have to have a separate login to be able to edit their website pages. If they have a Gmail account, which all of them do, they can make changes to relevant pages. So they don't have to, say, oh, I need to remember my Joomla account and remember how to do that. If they can use Google Docs, which we're training all of our teachers to do, they can make changes to this, and within 5 minutes, it'll be published to the website. So that's just a way we've embedded more Google stuff inside this. So hopefully Google or Joomla never goes down with that strategy. One other way, this is another embedded Google Doc. The teachers don't have to come to the website to change it. They can make the weekly spelling words for the parents. Just the parents can come to the website and get those weekly spelling words. Now, this is just a demo right now because, obviously April 11th through the 15th, we're not going to start using that feature until next year. But there's going to be a lot of pages like that where people can come and get information that they need. On our lesson plans, if we go back to first grade, in the past, we've asked, or we've required teachers post their lesson plans to eChalk, and then a student logs in and they would have their class schedule with all the different assignments. Right now, the way we're going to do it is lesson plans. It's just a calendar. Or if I click on Ms. Birch's lesson plan calendar, it brings an embedded calendar into the website. So a parent, right down here at the bottom, can hit the plus Google Calendar, and it'll add it to their personal calendar. So a parent can go into all their teachers, if they or a student, and then when they go log into Gmail and click on calendar, they would see all of those teachers' calendars, and they could see all the things that the teachers add. And that's instantaneous. So if Ms. Birch were in her classroom right now, adding stuff to that calendar, you would see it appear instantaneously. So we're real excited about how this is going to work, and how I think easy it's going to be for the teachers and for the community to get to.
One more thing about the calendar and the synchronization with the Android phones, it will automatically update your Android phone calendar as well. If you have subscribed to that calendar as well. So if Ms. Birch, who thinks he's in her class, if she adds something to her calendar, it shows up on my phone.
You can hide it and then just pull it up and you feel like.
Everyone see it.
So, like if you're wondering what's going on in the district, pull it up on your phone. And it'll like notify you.
No, it's just on there.
It just shows up on there, but you can set it to notify you if you want.
If a new event is added.
I'm subscribed to our calendar on my phone, and I have like all the district stuff.
There's
on
lots
there.
of stuff too.
Yes, and the church calendar, when people call me the other day, they go, can you change something? Something's wrong in the calendar, and I just went on my phone and changed it. And
Yep.
it's like instantaneous.
This calendar on the side of our front page, so when you go to the home page, there's that calendar. That's called the agenda view of a calendar, so you can see everything that's been added. And Dawn is the one that adds to this. Any event, hopefully, that's happening in Chapel Hill. And we tell all the teachers, if you have something you want on the district activity calendar, make sure and tell Dawn, and she'll get it on there. She does a great job of putting that on there. But a parent or anybody in the community right there, plus Google Calendar, and add that to their personal Gmail. And then have access to that calendar without actually having to come to the website to look at it. So it's pretty cool. And we've been using that for a while, so we brought it over. We have,
Still click on the word and pull up the information like we're at.
like the 5th grade field trip, it's in Austin. And right here, if you're logged into Gmail, you can click copy to my calendar, so maybe a parent is going with them. They want to put that on their personal calendar, they click that link, and it will put that on their personal calendar. Down here at the bottom, if you want to, maybe you're Chinese, you want to change the website to Chinese, so we can, so now all the links up here are in Chinese. I read Mandarin very well, and that's accurate.
I'm guessing that Chapel Hill's the same in Chinese as it is in English?
I would think, yeah.
No.
But we have the two flags here, the Spanish flag and the American flag, so a parent can quickly click, and it should change it to that language. Now, I don't know the accuracy because I don't speak Spanish. I'm having trouble getting it back to English. There we go. So anything we put in there, of course, those pictures don't change because that's a picture. It's got text on top of the picture, so it wouldn't change that. But everything else, it should change that to that language. So.
You got a relative.
Right. And we do have a ESL community, the parents may not speak English, so that's just another way we can kind of approach that. Again, I don't know about the accuracy of that, but I do have our Spanish teachers kind of looking to make sure that it doesn't. From what I've heard, it does a pretty good job. Of course, nothing's perfect, but that's a free plugin that we were able to add to Joomla, so we didn't have to pay for any of that. Okay, that's it.
Good job, Stuart.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Pam, safety audit report. No, we're still, I'm sorry, back on instructions.
I just have a few things, and I'm not sure what order since we're kind of out of order. So you may have to bear with me.
Just a little FYI, I suppose. We just finished up,
The big round of tax testing a few weeks ago, and I just got curious and added it up, and we administered a little over 1,200 tests to approximately 600 students in 4 days. So that's a lot of testing going on, and I'm happy to say that all of that was unboxed and handed out, and the kids were tested, and under the watchful eye of Mr. Skelton, Mr. Skeleton, as kids call him, bundled all that back up and kept it all confidential and secure and sent it back to Pearson. So we were glad when all of those documents left the district. But anyway, that was lots of testing. Also, just wanted to let you know that we have gotten the preliminary results for our 5th and 8th grade reading and math. That's the only results we've gotten back so far. We'll get the results of the big test. It's supposed to come out on May the 25th. So, of course, those will be preliminary. It'll take a while to be final. But on the preliminary results of 5th and 8th grade math and reading, they look very good. We were very pleased. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we will have a few kiddos participating in the second administration of those, because those are our SSI grades. You heard all of the principals, or 2 of the principals talking about SSI, Student Success Initiative. And right now, under law, if a student is not successful in the 5th and the 8th grade on their tax test, they're not promoted. So that's why they get the second time, and they get a third try. Now, even if they're not successful on all those attempts, then we do convene, we are allowed to convene a grade placement committee or a GPC, and there are ways that, if the teachers and the parents feel that it's best for the child to promote them, we can do that. There is a mechanism to do that for the child if we feel that we need to. Also, just to tell you a little bit about accountability, and we'll talk about this more, of course, as we get the final results from our tax. But what happened to us this year, as far as accountability goes, we started the school year, and a few weeks ago, TEA did release the rules of the game. So
So in midstream, we did play by a new set of rules, so I just want to tell you a little bit, because we're anticipating as districts all over the state that, there's gonna be some fluctuation probably in our accountability ratings. So here's some reasons why some districts are getting ready for that. In the previous year, in 09-10, we got what some people call a TPM, Texas Projection Measure. What that did was actually a very good thing for our students. If a student did not meet the standard, but yet after they were run through this extensive statistical mathematical formula, if the student was on track to be successful at the next high stakes grade level, they were given credit as passing. So it was a very good thing for our students. The criticism was that inflated accountability ratings. So therefore, Commissioner Scott ruled a couple of weeks ago that there will be no TPM this year. So when the ratings come out, we're not gonna be able to look at a parent or a student and say, you know what, you didn't meet the standard, but if you keep doing what you're doing, you're on track, you'll get it next time. That won't be figured in. So that's gonna affect some accountability ratings. Also, this is the first year that all of our tax tests that are given to students who receive special education services, those also count the same. They've not previously counted. The other thing, and this is probably gonna be the most difficult hurdle for a lot of districts to pass, and that is that this year, to receive a recognized rating, all of your students in reading and math, you must have 15% commended. Now that's the highest level. We have a met standard and then we have a commended. 2 student groups will be evaluated in that. Your all student group, which is just like it says, all of the students who tested, plus your economically disadvantaged. Now that's the same kid, it's gonna count twice. But those are the 2 special populations that they're gonna measure for this. So to be recognized, 15% of all the kids have to be commended on math and reading, and then again, if those children fit into the economically disadvantaged group, 15% of that group must also be commended on math and reading. Also, to be exemplary, which our elementary has been exemplary for 2 years, our high school was exemplary last year, and we are an exemplary district, to maintain that, 25% of all students on math and reading must score commended, and 25% again of the economically disadvantaged student group. It's a pretty high bar. But, again, preliminary results we're pleased with. But, and just to give you an example, because a lot of times we throw out things, for a student to be coded economically disadvantaged in our teams, that means that they must qualify to receive either free lunch and breakfast or a reduced price lunch and breakfast. This is refigured every year, but basically I looked it up and I just gave you the figure. For a child to fit in that, the family of 4 would earn less than $28,665 a year. So that's not a lot of money for a family of 4, and then it has, figures as the family increases in size. But that's what we're talking about when we talk about economically disadvantaged. So then the other thing that is a new indicator this year is our ELL progress indicator, and that's our English language learners. Any of our students who are coded limited English proficient, meaning their primary language is not English, we must have 60% of that student population, and not only those kiddos, so it will not be a huge group, but they must show growth or progress. So 60% of them. We've been good there. We don't anticipate that this measure, will have a negative impact on us, but it is a new measure. So several of the rules in the game changed this year after we started playing. So questions on that? And we'll come back to you with more details as it gets a little closer, but we just kind of wanted to let you know what was going on at this point. So that's that. I'm going to skip and go, I don't know if y'all have, Stuart was talking about our website. Right now, I think you have a copy of the curriculum and much more group page. You can look at this anytime from our eChalk page, and of course you'll also be able to access it from the curriculum group on our new website. But this is where we house a lot of information for teachers to go to, and anybody in the public that's interested in looking at it. But right now on the page, we just kind of wanted to show you what we've got up there. We have the plan for the instructional days we missed for snow in February, directions to teachers there, because a lot of times, you just need to go back and check and who am I supposed to give what to, so all of that's there. We also have updates there for the required 6-hour GT update, helping teachers be sure that they get that. And then we have a few resources added there at the bottom. And then there's also a calendar on this page that is events that pertain specifically to curriculum or other things that, we need to get out there that are tied mostly to instruction and curriculum. Questions on this? And another item we had, just to kind of let y'all know what we're doing. It was time, of course, getting that time of year. We've posted a few jobs, interviews have taken place, so you have a copy of just our brief interview procedures. And these are what all the principals follow. Now, we also, on the back of that sheet, it gets a little more detailed. This comes directly from TASB, where some of these things are geared to a really large district, because you can see out beside it, we've written the names of who's responsible, and it's mostly Jeff, Valerie, principals, Pam, or Mark. So in large districts, there's probably a different person at the end of each of those lines. But these are just very, very brief, but we just kind of wanted to share with you our practices and our procedures when we do start pulling applications and interviewing. Questions on that?
Well, it's something they asked for. What is it,
Oh,
tighten that up a little bit.
Trying to make sure we do it right. Okay. Then, next to the last thing on the instructional reports is the Region 8 contract. This is several pages. We put it in here to give you a look it over. If you have any questions, give us a shout. We'll be happy to answer them. The good news about the contract with Region 8 this year is that it did go down in price. It went down about $10,000 from last year, so we were excited about that. And the Service Center, I know, worked really hard to combine some of their services because they understand we're all kind of in some uncertain times. But basically, what we've chosen or what we anticipate we will use on this year's contract is a repeat of what we've used in previous years.
So it's the exact same thing, but it's just cheaper.
They bundled the things. They used last year. For an example, they charged us separately for a special ed co-op, special ed professional learning community. I'm sorry, for special ed PLC. Well, this year they just waived that fee. They charged us separately for gifted and talented services last year. This year they rolled them in. They decreased some of their per student prices as well, like in our bilingual ESL, we're part of a shared service arrangement, and I think that was $30 per student last year. This year it was $25. They also decreased the amount of their share of what they charge us for all the work that they help us do on all of our federal applications. That's used to be at 2% of your total grant. Now it's 1.5%. So they really worked hard, and it was very helpful to us this year. So $10,000 less, and as long as I've been here and been doing this, every year it's gone up. So this is the first year that I've presented it that I can say, hey, it went down. So probably close to the price the first year I presented it, which was 4 years ago. So. Questions on the contract?
We're not asking for any action. We just want you to have that. We'll come back next month after we continue to look at it.
We'll get you to sign it and all that next month.
So it is $10,000 less than what this year's contract is.
What percentage is that?
15.5.
It's about those numbers, 15, 20.
Good
One
size.
more thing.
One more thing. Okay. The last page.
This is what they, at Region 8, remember when we went to the service?
Yeah.
I mean, to the
Some
Civic
of you
Center?
went to the North Texas School Board Association dinner in the spring, and you saw some schools get recognized. Well, we should have gotten recognized, but TEA sent us a really nice letter a couple weeks ago and said, we're so sorry, we left some schools off the list. And the next morning after, I know Mr. Denard, bless his heart, the next morning after the dinner, he said, man, didn't we get that? And I said, yeah. I said, you did, and elementary did, because we had gotten notification. He said, well, we didn't get an award. Well, Mr. Levesque and I went to a meeting a couple weeks ago, and I'm happy to say that we now do have the award. But I just want to tell you a little bit before I hand these to the principals. We've been holding them hostage, waiting to present them to them. But the elementary received the Title I Distinguished Performance Award. And it is a national recognition because Title I is a federal program. So the way that our elementary has received this, and I think this is the second year, let me go, she ran out of, second year y'all gotten this one, I believe. I think, don't quote me on that, but, they've been a Title I Part A campus, and that just means that at least 40% of their students are economically disadvantaged, low income there. For 3 years, they met AYP, Adequate Yearly Progress, in '09 and '10. They were exemplary in '10, exemplary recognized the year before, and exemplary recognized the year before. So basically, for the past 3 years, we've maintained our Title I Part A status, and they've been recognized for exemplary for those 3 years. So the elementary got it for performance. Our high school this year got it for progress. And the same criteria applies. They have to have been a Title I campus for 3 years, met AYP, which is a federal recognition there, and they had to be either acceptable or unacceptable in '08, then one notch above it in '09, and then finally exemplary in '10. So our high school met all of that. So I was sad that we didn't get to be recognized in one of the whole, yeah, well, we fed you sandwiches tonight. So anyway, yeah, the high school fed us sandwiches tonight, I'm sorry. Mr. Denard had his own dinner. But anyway, we wanted to recognize them, Mr. Denard. If you'd like to come get your lovely certificate. Miss Wally, if you'd like to come get your lovely certificate. And they really are pretty.
Stand with him, Pam.
Put it on.
Yeah. Here, take your little. Oh, my goodness.
Okay, come here, Brady.
Congratulations. Now I think I'm fair to the instructional report.
Okay, you can walk right on into the safety audit report.
Okay, the next agenda item is our safety audit report. Basically, this is a federal requirement that every 3 years we undergo a security and safety audit. And what we do is, this is part of our Region 8 contract. Region 8 comes out and does this for us. They don't announce when they're coming. They do give us a window. They're kind enough to do that. And so we had our window, I don't remember the exact dates, but anyway, sometime in January. And they did come out, and they have, the entire report is this notebook, and you're welcome to look at it if you'd like. It's a pretty extensive audit. You know, they really, Mr. Caskey did it 3 years ago, maybe even done it previous to that, but he takes it very seriously. And I'm glad they do, you know, but they check, you can see there on the letter that is addressed to y'all, they check a number of items. Security assessment, critical documents, they want to know how are we storing certain things, all that. School climate and culture, they interview students, they interview teachers. Playground safety science labs, you know, you name it, and they do an audit. He was here, I guess, the biggest part of one day, checking everything. So anyway, there's the letter. In addition to that, we file or submit a report to CPA, and that's what I put there on the next page. There's about a 50 plus, I don't know, it was probably close to 60 questions that, of information that TEA gathers. So I've submitted that following the audit, and it's a lot of the same things, they're just kind of double checking, for what the auditors saw. But anyway, that's been submitted, so we are in compliance, I'm happy to say. They did give, a couple of recommendations, and I noted those there for you. At the junior high school, the only thing that, that was mentioned was that he found the door in the gym, between the gym and the multipurpose was not locked. And so he just made a recommendation. And our practice is to keep that door locked. Obviously, somebody forgot that day. But, and then at the elementary, he asked us about the gates. And those are all locked now. But he also had lots of really positive things to say, and read through through some of those. He pointed out that the security of the campus and the students is shown to be an important and high priority of the administration and the staff, and interviews and casual conversations confirmed that. Positive attitudes and accomplishments are exhibited throughout the building as evidenced by the displays in the hallway, and he took pictures of that at the junior high school and at the elementary. This observer was approached by numerous school personnel and asked if any assistance was needed. The addition of security cameras demonstrates the commitment of the school and community toward the safety and concern for all students and staff members. In fact, he was laughing. He barely got in the doors up here at high school before Sue Ann Snapple came out and said, "Can I help you, sir?" Because he hadn't gotten the visitor's badge yet. So we may have been the quickest, he said. And then the same at the elementary. He was very complimentary, and I think that's one of the first things he says is that the main entrance is secure and admittance is closely supervised. Faculty and staff are diligent regarding identifying visitors or other persons that are not recognized. There's a very positive atmosphere among the staff and the students. It seems to set up a positive attitude toward learning and cooperation, and there are many displays in the hallways that promote positive, creative, and scholarly attitudes. So it was a very good report, because we do take the safety of our staff and students very, very seriously. So, questions on the safety audit?
I think we got a pretty good report.
It was a good report. We were pleased.
Mark, can you give us-
No, wait.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's later. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna have one more thing,
All right.
but it's not yet.
You want to give us an update on the facility?
Sure. Just two things I included in there. I wanted to make sure that you had a complete copy of all those folks that were helpful with our ball fields contributors. And secondly, I asked Mr. Anderson to give us a 511, I guess it was done when he did this for us, on a general overview of progress with our HVAC is pretty substantially completed and basically completed. The lighting has been the main thing right now that's been going on, the retrofitting of everything. They shouldn't be too much longer actually getting all that done. And the fire alarm folks, probably gonna have them back next week to do the commissioning and the walking and the checking of everything. They're almost done as well. So, I mean, they have not, I don't believe they've interfered with instruction. They've been good to what they've said in the evenings, and it's gone fairly smoothly. I know Mr. Compo, I think, has been inconvenienced a couple of times, but we've worked through it. So, but anyway, it's moving along, and if you need for me to have Terry come at the end, Jim, or anything like that, I'd be happy to do that. I told him that, but I said, just keep giving us these updates, and I'll keep going for you.
How about Shaq?
We are required annually to have a group that meets, we meet about 3 or 4 times a year, but an annual report to the board, and I want to thank publicly Ms. Wilson, our school nurse, for being kind of our chair of the committee. And what we are required to provide you with is some feedback at the end of the year, and obviously some suggestions in the area of school health. And so that's what's in front of you, our report. Also, there's a copy of the last meeting. But basically, we are going to move forward with all of that salad bar discussion, and that's in there for you to look at, see how that's going to progress next year for the students and the staff. The Aim for Success, which was the abstinence program, we felt like we might be able to rotate that with a kind of an alcohol tobacco program the next year during Drug-Free Month. So that's going to take place. And on the wellness, there's been a lot of interest in the Biggest Loser contest and some different things with that. So I think we're going to continue along those lines, but maybe a different twist on how to get maybe some more people involved. One of the things that we discovered from the fitness gram was that, yes, by and large, if you're not in athletics, maybe we don't have that many kids that are so healthy in PE. And with that being said, we are discussing about some possible different approaches to our general PE. And even if that's a much more of a walking approach, but some movement and consistently, because what happens is that, when you throw a fitness type gram at someone who has been relatively inactive, maybe that's what you're reading about sometimes, these isolated incidents that take place in a kid. So we're gonna try to do a little bit better as we move that along, and maybe even have some of those warm-up type things throughout the year, so that when they get to the fitness grant, it's not such a shock. And I'm not talking about all the kids, but that's some things that came out of that. And then, of course, I wanted you to know that we have two friends in on our district now. We've had friends. They have a student here, and Dr. Downey and Cuenca have joined us with the scholarships that they want for allied health. And as a SHAC committee, we thought that was outstanding. So I included that. And also, there is one of our parents who is also a chiropractor. She is offering some wellness workshops, free educational workshops to our employees, and we're investigating that, especially some that are on stress. So that was kind of our yearly report. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions on that?
Y'all have any questions on the SHAC committee?
That is a
Report.
That is a, yeah. But that was some good feedback.
Next item is local policy. This is something that we tabled last month, and I'm going to have request a motion to take that off of the table.
Sharon Taylor?
I thought we did table it.
I'm not so sure.
I thought it was just on first reading.
Good luck.
I'm looking.
Look and see.
I don't know that we did either.
Okay.
I'm not sure we tabled anything. I remember,
Well, we talked about tabling that. And then we're gonna bring us back some more information.
this is March.
Well, if y'all don't think we tabled it, we don't have to do anything about it. Well, we'll fix it.
I would have made a note too.
Okay, that's fine, never mind. Second reading of the high school local policy, update, health computer programming, debate, academic achievement, graduation. Who's gonna do that? I don't
Mr.
have enough.
Denard.
Mr. Denard.
Mr. Denard. Would you step forward, please? We have well, the thing of consideration on the EIF local, we want to make sure is the credit. You may want to address that, because that was initially on our EIF local, where we were asking for a change in our local policy. Okay?
Yeah, we were asking that we,
That's in your,
still offer health, but don't make it a local requirement, because the state pulled that off, the last time they were in session. And then the other was, the independent family living, class that's, a requirement. And what we wanted to change it to was that we just required that they still take at least one CETE class to graduate. So it was that they had to take that class, but we're pulling that off just because we're trying to pull off some of the local restraints that the state suggested would help with budgets. And we thought those were two pretty easy fixes where we can still keep the kids, give them the flexibility of taking the CTE class, but not having to take that specific one. And then not requiring them to take a health class.
and that is in there, that's in the board book, and it shows, what we had and what we'd like.
That's the first thing that we would like to do.
The other piece,
The other piece that was suggested was that we gave the weighted GPA to computer programming, Coach Williams, and the debate with Mr. Kramer.
we were asked by our board members to maybe a little bit about the curriculum of the two, about debate, and also computer programming, and then also maybe some talking points about why we're just doing this, because there was also discussion about some of our other CPE classes. If you have, because I gave them a copy of what Miss McCain had, and you and her had talked about. Do you have that in front of you?
Well, just to speak on the curriculum aspect is, Coach Williams is going to an AP conference this summer concerning computer programming. So that's gonna be on that level, so that's an advanced level class. And then the other one is debate, and the curriculum on that Mr. Crandall uses comes out of the competitive debate, the official guide. It's the
conversation about students taking articulated classes. I know Pam had given you some examples, but I made sure that I included that. I think I asked Dawn to put that in there as well. Did you? Is that in their board book? Or is that, do we have that hard copy or is that an actual board book?
It is in the board.
Okay. Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Also, I want to read the minutes about it. We just put in here that we would review the changes that are being requested in the month of May.
Okay.
What page is that on, John?
The minutes,
No, the information
it
in the
will
board.
be under item 6.
There's
I'll
also,
go back to
I've got
the-
75, Mike.
there's also a part in there that looks like it's a misprint, or Ms. McCain and I caught it when we started looking through the policy. If you look at the minimum plan it has on there, it says that we would
75.
require 6, and it's really 1. So that's something else that we'll need to change. If you look at the, what is it?
That's what I'm talking about. EIF local is what you're talking
Yes,
about.
the EIF local, there's a part where, at the top where it talks about the minimum plan, it says 6 required, 6 additional credits, that actually only needs to be 1. So that's something else that y'all are gonna need to, vote on, because actually we're not doing that right now anyway, so, it's not required by the state.
Say that again. Where are we?
Um,
76?
74, 75.
Maybe it says right there 3.
It says 6 right here.
Yes,
You
okay.
marked through it,
See,
put
yours
one
is
credit.
3, theirs says 6, it actually needs to just read 1. Where it says minimum plan, the district requires completion of, y'all says 6 credits in addition to those required by the state of Texas, or the state for graduation in their minimum program. It actually needs to read 1. So, 6 is a wrong amount.
Page 61. You see it?
No, I'm not seeing
What's
6.
the one in addition?
Well, I think
What
the
is
6
that? One
is
credit?
right down.
Oh, okay, I see that.
Is
Come on
that-
through.
It would just be an elective.
An elective?
Yeah,
Okay.
or, whatever we're requiring. Probably for them, that would be the CTE class.
When they were making these recommendations of these 2 classes of health, Pam went back in and brought this local to Brandon, and that's when this was discovered, some of this, she said, well, this isn't what we're following right now. And she was listing the classes that are no longer named, everyone we talk about right here, about the home maintenance and improvement, things have changed. So we needed to upgrade or update our local policy, and that's what this is.
Where is the health thing in here?
The health class,
Is it in this
notated in here anywhere?
local policy?
Or is it just?
Is
the
that what you're
individual
wanting to
family
put in
living?
there?
No, health's gonna be pulled out. It's just, I don't know if it's specified in that, but we have it in policy that you have to take the health class.
So you're wanting to make
Because the
that?
state was requiring it. the
Yes, I
students,
know.
And then 2 years ago, they changed the policy, and we kept it, and so they wanted to roll it back.
This is what you wrote, refresh.
So, I mean, I know,
We're committed to memory, but that's what you wrote.
yeah.
It was good.
So we would just like to pull that out.
Are they specifying CTE classes? Any
They can
specific?
choose
They can choose any of the
Any
CTE
of the
classes?
CTE classes, because we think it's important that they, stay in something like that, or take one of those classes to kind of broaden their experiences. And we didn't want to just totally eliminate the individual family living and home maintenance and then not have something else to kind of fill in behind it. So we wanted to be able to still provide that experience, but also to free it up in the schedule where they had availability to take something else besides just those classes.
So those are still
still gonna be offered, but
Yes,
they're not
ma'am.
required.
They're not required. Health's still gonna be offered, but it's not required. Another issue that we were running into is a kid that would move in their junior or senior year. They were having a hard time if they didn't have health or one of these two classes to fit it in their schedule, and to get it. And, you know, if they didn't have it, then, you know, they couldn't graduate. We actually, we had one that had to, put one class onto, contract. So
A
that
lot
they
of
could.
kids take it up to college just to, I mean, just to, you know, get through with it because it's a half a I mean, it's a semester and then it's not a whole year course, right?
What, health?
Mhm.
No, it's a full year.
Is it?
Yes, it's a
Okay.
full year class. So,
It used to be.
what a
When
lot of
Candace
our,
was here, it was half.
what a lot of our students are doing is they'll take it as an eighth grader, and so they'll have it going into high school. So we're still gonna offer it because we don't wanna eliminate it totally because it'll hurt junior high too if we just totally eliminate it because they still need some electives to be able to take. So,
And they changed policy, or are you adopting policy changes for just this stuff, or for?
Well, EIF local is the only thing, that's standing right there that we're asking for changes in that. The other things, I guess you would have to say that they would fall under the handbook, correct?
yes,
Which is what the board approves.
The
If you're
weighting.
gonna give the weighting.
Okay, the weighting's gonna be in the handbook, so yes, in answer to your question, they're separate.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
I didn't hear the question, but yes,
Well, his question was, are we,
Well, what are we taking action on and what are we hearing as information, I guess?
well, I think, like before, we'd like you to take action on the EIF local policy as it is presented. And then secondly, Brandon's asking you to understand that we'd like approval that when health is becoming optional from a school or not, and that the computer programming and like it, maybe you wanna give that back to you, the page I just gave you. Computer programming and the debate.
In advance.
Yes.
And the independent family living, home family, or home maintenance is gonna not be, it's gonna be optional. It's not gonna be a required class.
well, that's what you're doing with the local policy, right?
Yes, sir. You're changing that from a.
We got two issues here.
Well, that's my question.
Yes.
And here's my contention. I think y'all are doing a great job with programming and debate, but I feel like we're gonna leave out a group of kids if we don't include those kids that are taking articulated classes and that can receive the college credit. So therefore, I'm gonna move that we add articulated classes with state-approved curriculum to the additional, weighted grade points.
Explain to
Well-
these guys what you're talking about, because
All right,
we've discussed it a lot. and I
There's
don't think they know
classes that these
articulated
kids,
classes.
and they're in all different venues, depends on where you're at. The state has curriculum, whether it's for this class, it's taught in the high school. The colleges, whether it's Northeast Texas, Parish Junior, Tyler Junior College, they make agreements with schools and say, if your student takes Class A at Chapel Hill, we will grant them credit for that class, Class C at Tyler Junior College, when they enroll and complete some courses. Now, to me, that says, both groups, the state has said, the college has said, the high school has said, those kids are doing college work. And they deserve what goes with that, and so I think that if we're going to give these classes, and there's no doubt these classes are rigorous, but I think we have other classes that have the same rigor, and I think those kids deserve those grade points that go with taking a class for college credit. And so that's the background behind the motion, I guess.
And this is irregardless of dual credit, correct?
Well, I think dual credit already gets that. Am I correct on that?
Dual credit on
AP, dual credit.
What,
Huh?
what classes are you talking about?
Articulated, classes where there is an articulation agreement between the school and a college.
So like kids that were taking the Shelby program at the college, is that what you're talking about?
No, that's a college class. An articulated class would be taught here. okay?
Those are classes that the colleges, that the state, the colleges, and the individual districts have agreed that if we set this course curriculum up, or the state set this, or
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
state-approved curriculum.
the state has set a curriculum that will be accepted by NTCC, Kilgore College, X number.
PJC,
Yeah.
and it could be a
Mostly
computer
community
class,
college.
it could be a
What class would one
I
of
don't
those?
know.
health sciences, frequently one. There are some ag classes that are that, there are automotive, if you taught automotive, or electrical trades, or, I mean, it really depends on the district, what they offer, and what those articulation groups.
So is that CTE classes for?
A good many of them are,
They would all be the CTE, follow the CTE.
yeah.
But isn't that, two different things that we're looking at, like, one of them is to add those two classes,
Right.
but that's like a whole nother thing that maybe we need to look into as a separate item, to me, those seem like two different things.
Well, I think if they have state-approved curriculum, that speaks volumes, and you've got colleges and schools that have
I
already
mean,
signed
I'm
off
in
on it.
agreement with it, but I'm saying it seems like it's a different, it's apples and oranges, sort of, this is, we're
That's
asking
not
for
what
two
they're
things.
asking for tonight.
Yeah, right.
This is something in addition to.
Yes, that's totally different from what we're asking for our classes versus, we're not trying to get classes here and there with English or whatever, but that's, I agree with you totally, but I think we need to look at that separately.
We're not bringing that tonight. I agree, we talked about this in our pre-meeting, and I would ask just a consideration, I mean, our counselor isn't bringing the recommendation. Mike makes some good points. Pam gave an example of our counselor about students that take articulated courses can get college credit for them if taken in a sequence, and she gives it for example. That was included in your board packet. And our principal is not making that recommendation, or our teachers. I just think that in consideration, that's a fair recommendation to make if it needs to be. But all I would ask is, just like you've done this, give it a month and we can put some folks on it and look at that and then come back. That would be the same thing. All we're trying to do tonight is, you're right, do good for kids, and we want to do well for all kids. And if everybody's on the same page and we've got teachers behind this, and we've got an analysis that's been done on it, I think that would be the way to go as well. I do not disagree. I just know that we're not bringing that recommendation to you tonight. And that's the conversation that we have before those problems. That's all. You agree?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Denard, is that right? Are our CTE teachers bringing this recommendation? That's all I want, just ask you to consider. Career technology education.
The whole purpose of why we brought the debate and computer programming to you was is because we had students that were telling us they're not going to go into those classes because it will hurt their GPA. They can go take another class and not be as hard and get an A, or they could take computer programming, which coach is going to really challenge them and really make it hard on them. They can get a B and it can hurt their GPA. So we had students and parents approach us. Students were saying, I'm not taking that class because it's not weighted, it's not high. And so that's why we're bringing it to you, is because those are two classes that we believe are going to be advanced, rigorous, and students have already expressed concern that they're not taking it for that. So we thought, well, to be fair, I believe that our teachers are making that as rigorous as possible. And we have students saying they're not taking it to bring that before you, to weight it differently.
And our counselor did include in the information that we gave you is that the articulated classes can count as advanced measures on the distinguished plan as long as they make a B or higher in the classes. Many of our students earn their advanced measures this way. I've talked with high school counselors that say on their campus they do not count the articulated classes for advanced measures. Chapel Hill does. Not many of our students take advantage of earning college credit this way. The reason is that on many plans, we do not have all the classes, and with all that is required, they cannot get all the classes in their state. So, I mean, we're working on it. Yeah. That is from our council in this meeting. It's a good thing. We want to have all the kids. step forward.
Where are we? We have a motion on the floor.
Well, yeah, I've got a motion, I made a motion.
Oh, you made a,
Yeah,
okay.
I did make a
Okay.
motion.
You restate your motion so they can remember it.
I said that I move that we, change, add the weighted GPA to computer science, debate, and articulated classes with state-approved curriculum.
Do you understand that?
80% of it.
Yeah, I just think we need to look at that other piece of it. I mean, that wasn't really a lot to us. I mean, I'm in agreement with it, I just think we need to look at it.
You got a motion on the floor, sir.
Well-
I don't know if there's.
Well, what,
Second is,
first of all, I wanna know if you understood the motion.
Yes.
We're,
understanding that.
We understand it.
okay. The second thing I'm asking for is there a second for it? No one's gonna second. Is that correct?
I mean, we,
So we're looking at weighting other classes along with that, so.
Yeah, those that have articulation agreement.
I think we should look at it and see what other ones should be
Well,
weighted.
that's only, looking at it's one thing, proving it's something else. is
No,
another.
Mike's saying we need to approve it tonight.
Well, I'm saying that's my motion.
Right, right.
Or wait and approve the other two when we look at it all the same time on weighted.
We've already looked at them.
We did that last month. We pushed those two this month after this was done.
Well, irregardless, let's get a second on his motion.
The motion made out for like a second.
Okay,
If there's not a second.
okay. If there's not a second, then the motion died. Now, let's hear another motion that we can vote on,
can,
if there is one.
okay, can you make a motion with a suggestion?
We can make any suggestions we want. We don't have to have a motion with that.
Well, I'm just thinking, make a motion to accept local policy and then presented with further investigation into the articulated courses.
Well, I think that the policy is here, and this one,
Well, we've
it's
got.
two different items.
It's two
actually.
different motions, actually.
Yeah,
We
we can accept the policy.
can accept the policy, we can accept that change there, but those are two separate motions. We're not even to
Yeah,
the
that's why I
policy.
didn't include the policy. I thought that was a separate,
Oh, okay.
is it not?
It is.
Because this will be in the handbook and this will be in a
Correct.
policy book.
Correct. That's right.
That's why I made the motion that way, because it's not gonna be a part of policy.
Well, to move things along here.
And what we could, if that's gonna be in the handbook, then we can wait till we approve the handbook at whatever the meeting is.
Well, I think the purpose of them wanting to know now is because you've got kids wanting to sign up for that stuff.
Well, that would be the same way on those other classes.
Well, what I'm saying is, we can do this tonight, get these guys to get their heads together, next month we can vote on the other. What do you think about that? So it doesn't have to be an either or.
So you wanna do the policy tonight? I move we accept the changes to the policy as proposed.
There, can I get a second on that? All in favor? 100%. Now,
Now, I would make a motion that we accept those,
changes in the student handbook.
right, as presented.
Okay, second on that? Becky, all in favor? 100%.
And we're gonna talk about these others.
And then we're gonna direct Mr. Levesque to put heads together to, talk about the others. Bring that back next meeting like we did this. Okay?
I need Mike and another. I would appreciate it.
Okay. Someone else like to serve on that? John?
Yes,
I think John McCullough would be excellent.
John McCulley,
I
there
think
you
John
go.
would be a perfect,
Everybody
perfect
agree?
person.
He just,
He shouldn't have
he just
left.
thought he took a break.
He
All right.
Don't make that mistake. Thank you.
Mr. Benoit?
Okay. What else
Yeah,
we
Ms.
got?
McKinney. Well,
Okay.
we have the other policy, which is a first look. You just need to stay with that for
Oh,
1 second.
okay.
Ms. Norwood,
Which,
the other policy is very important to what's coming with the new testing. We just wanted you to have that. The starting points is given by TASB, but this new test is gonna affect a lot. And there's a 15% of your grade, there's how many times you're gonna let the kids take the test. You wanna address just a little bit of it? We're not asking for any recommendation, just let us make this
These are just
general
some things
statement.
that we want you to be thinking about. We will be coming back to you. Right now, a lot of this is pending what the legislature does. But the new test next year will be the STAR, State of Texas Academic or Assessment of Academic Readiness. We're close enough, I don't know. But anyway, there's no more tax, it's STAR. STAR, they tell us, will be a much more rigorous assessment. Well, there will be tax, you're right, I'm sorry, let me clarify that, because STAR at the high school, in which most of these things I'm gonna talk to you about do apply to our high school students. If you are a freshman going into the 11-12 school year, you will be the first to take the STAR EOC, which stands for end of course. All of our 3rd through 8th graders will start taking STAR next year. So what'll happen at high school is you'll have freshmen taking STAR, you'll have sophomores, juniors, and seniors who haven't passed exit level still taking tax. So we're gonna have tax around at high school for 3 more years at least, maybe, a little longer as those if they're not successful at exit level. But anyway, there's gonna be some things that are gonna require us to set some policy. One of the things that right now the legislature says is that the students score on their STAR EOC, for example, Algebra 1, that score will be 15% of their final course grade. Now, we've got some leeway, I know, the first time I heard it a couple years ago, I just, oh my goodness. But we have some leeway and we have some time. We will be able to write a policy that prevents us from having to figure that in for credit. Because that's the scary thing. You don't want a student to work all year and maybe they're pulling a C and then come up and take a test and they don't get credit. But the teacher in the classroom says they get credit. So we're gonna be able, we'll bring you a recommendation that it's gonna be in the best interest of our students in protecting them from any adverse effects from STAR. But that is one thing we're gonna have to think about is the 15%. The other thing that is gonna have some impact on us is that a student is allowed to take the STAR, retake the STAR EOC as many times as they want to for whatever reason. So we need to be proactive there and be sure that our policy, again, does what's right for our students, but keeps us from having to refigure GPAs and final course grades over and over and over, because a student can just retest. Now, are a lot of kids gonna wanna retest if they've already passed it? Probably not, but, you don't know. So we'll bring you a recommendation on that, but again, we wanna do the right thing for the student. So you got the 15%, you have the unlimited number of retakes, and then the other, issue is, again, how is it gonna figure into GPA, which will kind of play into the 15% in the retest, but those are 3 big issues. Like I say, some of that is gonna be determined by what the legislature does on a few things, but one thing that we will have to do, and we'll bring this to you in a month or so, we will probably have to adopt a resolution to amend or suspend for just this next school year a portion of EIF local. EIF local. Right now, because of law, it says that a student in 5th and 8th grade must be successful in the state assessment, which at current is tax, that's law. And I talked to you about that just a little bit ago. Next year, the 11-12 school year, because it will be the first year of STAR, and they won't even set passing standards until months after the kiddos have taken the test. So they will suspend that SSI requirement next year. So therefore, we will have to pass a resolution noting that we're suspending that in our local
It's
policy.
EIE.
EIE? What did I say, EIF? EIE local. EIO, whatever. But we'll have that for you, it'll be a couple months, but we will have to suspend that, because we would not be following our own policy, because we won't have the scores back in time, and the state is not holding us to that next year. So, those are just some things, but, a lot of these things with STAR right now are still kind of in flux with the legislature, but just kind of wanted to let you know what we'll be working on the next few months, and when figure it out and figure out what's best for the kids, we'll come back with a recommendation. That's all I have on STAR right now.
Let's go ahead and take a break right now, because we need one. Be back in 15 minutes, please.
Yeah, we're on number seven, transfer.
Seven.
Transfers.
Well, depends how you look at it. You're not even the third one, right? Depends how the rest of you get it. Could be the-
I think we'll be all right.
That all looks good to me.
Nasby's job.
The most important thing later on, obviously, is gonna be your consideration of some of these people. That's gonna be anything in executive session. And then also agreement on the wastewater in executive session. And that's it, the budget chart. This is just gonna show you where we stand, the goals and direction. Again, and like I found this out, Region 8 does not have a board requirement, but she said, you know, that if the board members participate on any level, they get credit for level 3 training. She said some districts you can just have a board person, one or two that might wanna, you know, follow along how your system, your system plan is going. We have options. You can always get options. I apologize that I, you know, that's why I've gotta recommend we move forward as an administration. We have to do systemic planning. So we're good. Pretty cool. And then we've got Jeff's gonna do this Gatsby, that shouldn't be too long. But if we just get Marco, we'll move go.
Mark,
You will feel that.
Jim, I'm gonna make the recommendation, but you're gonna be the one that's gonna sign the board.
did you make him mad?
Huh?
Did you make him mad?
Who?
John. No, he had to go or something. He's gonna be back.
John's coming back, yeah.
If we're still here.
Well, I was thinking, say, let's try and make it where he doesn't make it
No,
back.
that's what I'm trying to do right now.
John was
Okay.
picked up.
Let's go ahead and, you won't walk out of another meeting.
Get up this morning at 5 o'clock, feed chickens, not gonna do it anymore.
Okay, the transfer contract for Harts Bluff and Winfield. Mark, you wanna present that, please?
Sure. At this point, we have, the discussions, and this contract that you have in front of you will go out to Harts Bluff and Winfield, but we'd like for you to look at the tuition fee proposal analysis. We've had a fee of $1,068 for the past, 2 years? We put something together showing you tuition limit and percentage of limit, and we're actually asking for our tuition charge for the Winfield School District and the Harts Bluff School District to go to $1,500. And one thing we want you to remember in that, or two things we put, we're still, percentage of our tuition total limit is less than Mount Pleasant. And then also remember that we are the only ones, we provide bus transportation to and fro with the driver, which is about $15,000 a year. So.
Did we go to Winfield also?
Yes. So if you, you know, at least, you know, you can see what Mount Pleasant's charging, and you can see, you know what we have, so I'm just asking for permission to either set that rate, you know, well, we've asked for the rate to be $1,500. And then also in the contract, I want you to know that in the clause where it talks about a special ed student, the tuition rate shall be the actual cost of the special ed student. Well, that is being negotiated by our attorney, who is also working with Harts Bluff. And so we want to make sure that we're protected there as well in case, you can never have this type of scenario. Well, I'm sorry, that child wasn't in special education in our school district, so you're going to have to cover that. No, the child lives in your school district. They're our student, which means, you know, our student, and those costs will be shared. And so that's what the contract will reflect.
Is that something we've been presented with?
That is something that is being worked on right now. The statement
I mean,
in,
have we had this?
well, yes, we've had the issue, I'm
Okay.
sorry, yes,
Okay.
yes.
And what we're going to do is a way to determine what is actual cost, and
Right.
then we need to back out, you know, our reimbursement from state, federal resources, and also possible medical resources. So
And so it's fair to all
we need
parties.
a definition and a determination at how to do that, a little bit more technical learning.
And Powell Leon has a 13-year veteran who taught in the class, and she's perfect for this and is going to do a good job.
Here's something I was just thinking about while you were speaking. How many students do we get from Winfield?
Oh,
Approximately
10.
10?
That month as well?
No, per year.
No, total, total, like
Total
right now, how
9
many?
through 12?
Well,
I'm going to
You
guess.
all know.
Butch, what do you think? 30?
I can tell you who we built for.
How many ride the bus?
Well, I
How many
just-
ride the bus?
Let's say we have.
I'm talking about how many ride the bus, yes.
That's a full bus.
Oh, yeah, it's mostly Winfield people.
Okay. Well, what I was gonna say is, we need to have a minimal number of kids that are gonna be riding that bus before we send the bus out there. And that needs to be a consideration as well. Same thing with Harts Bluff. If you meet this threshold, then we'll send a bus. If not,
Say if you
we'll still
get
send a
10
bus, but you
10
won't have to pay.
students at 1,500, you're only paying for the bus.
Or you're paying for the gas,
What
maybe.
I'm saying, just paying for the bus, if
Good point.
bus costs 15,000 a year, and you only get 10 students out there.
Yeah. See what I'm saying?
How long does that run?
Every year.
Does it pick up Harts Bluff and Winfield?
Yes, it does. It comes back. It's
Okay.
packed every year.
It's one bus. I thought it was a bus to Winfield.
I
and
know,
that's-
at the beginning of the year, I've asked Lee every year to make a count, because we get to the point where it almost looks like we almost need to send 2 buses because it's so packed. At the beginning of the year, once the extracurricular events start up, the sports and that kind of stuff, it alleviates itself naturally, but it's still, it's full every single time. They load and unload.
How many kids on the bus?
What's that?
70, 60 to 70.
It's setting down pretty
Harts
good. I
Bluff
see it.
this year,
Doesn't go by
41
anymore.
students
41?
and 33 for Winfield.
Okay.
Yeah, and our numbers are growing. with
It's
both.
70 something, 41 and
Well, that might
34.
be a separate, something to look at as well.
Well, it doesn't sound like it's an issue now, but it possibly could be an issue, and at $5, $6, $7 a gallon diesel, which is what it'll be in 3 or 4 years, if Obama stays in there, maybe more. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm just,
You'll be on CNN.
yeah, I'll be on Zoom.
You're on, being streamed there now.
Mr. President, think about it.
You running? Are you putting your name in the ring?
The recommendation would be for the school year, the rate changed to 1,500, with the understanding that the clause about the actual cost of education for that student discussion would be negotiated. And we would have,
I don't know, can you reserve the right to up this if fuel costs go up significantly?
Well, you're signing a new agreement every year.
Mike,
Yeah.
let me answer it this way. Let me
I'm
answer
just
it this
throwing it
way.
out there.
Let me answer it this way. Presently, we have a tuition limit of 2,464. So we're only charging 60% of that with the 1,500. So I guess you could answer it that way. Right
So
now, for
it's
next,
actually gonna bring in 21 more thousand, by the numbers close to it, 21 more thousand, 21,900 or something like that, huh?
Mhm.
Well, at least you can say that next year, you'll get a few more thousand in the bus paid, transportation paid for, and it's better than this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's wrong.
But yes, Mike, I mean, if you look at it in the sense of, we're still not at look at Mount Pleasant at 75%, because their limit is 1,600.
Is Mount Pleasant busing them though?
No.
No.
They don't bus it.
And again, this is contingent on that staying the same, that limit staying the
Right.
same.
Well,
We
true.
can limit next year, and it could be 1,200, and that could be the most we can charge. They'll redo it every September, unfortunately.
Right.
We haven't had that
Well,
great a
it-
swing, but
It
We had
has,
it go up that
Yes,
much.
we
We haven't had it
go
come down.
down.
yeah. Well, it has to do with property
What was the limit
richness. Richness. is
What
that
was
word?
the limit mean?
That's what
can't
the
charge
state
any more
says.
than
It
that.
is,
Huh?
The
The state
most,
says you can't charge any more than that.
We can charge 24, they can't charge, but
They can't charge at 16.
right, correct.
Well, I can tell you, if we started charging 24 tomorrow, all their students would be going to Mount Pleasant. If I was on their board.
And what is that gonna change? Is that gonna change anything, Mark? Us going up 300 more, is that gonna change us getting any of those students?
Well, we don't know that Mount Pleasant's not gonna go up too.
It is not paid by the families, it is paid by the district, right, both districts.
As long as they live
They're
in that
taxpayers,
district.
right, correct.
Yeah. Those kids that transfer in out there and want to come here, they have to pay their own way.
See, but the thing you need to understand is they are still collecting some money on those kids. regardless of whether they send them here and paying the fee or not.
How much they
Still
collect?
making money on it.
I'm not sure, there was, I don't know if that formula still exists, Jeff,
They got included in this that last
it
line.
used to be.
Oh, it
Jim.
didn't.
But would you figure they're getting paid that, Jeff?
Sir?
Would you figure they're getting paid that?
I believe so.
No.
So they're having to take money out of their pocket to,
Yes,
But they're still getting ADA for kids though, aren't they?
No.
right, no, not
From
these.
coming here?
They have to be getting something for those
They
kids.
used to get something, there used to be a compensation from the state, but that last biennium,
Mhm.
that was removed. As far as I understand, because
We can check on that, but I
I'll
believe
double
that's right.
check that for you, but I mean, we don't pay it, so I don't really. know that.
when was it removed, Jeff? When was it removed, sir?
I believe it was removed before the last biennium, so the 2 years we're currently in, it was removed.
Before
years
that?
ago in last legislature.
So they didn't have a problem 2 years ago, even though it got removed and they was going to have to pay it?
No.
Evidently
But
not.
there was some, they didn't mention it, but we never found out afterwards whether they actually took it away or not. It just kept, the contract kept going as planned, so.
Well, we
can
hadn't-
find that
we hadn't
information
raised
out.
What's the benefit, how much money do we get from those kids by the state?
We get regular ADA.
Yes, regular ADA.
And how much is that?
$4,800.
$4,800?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're
Plus,
talking 350,000, that brings in roughly, by us having them out there. What is our chances if we lose some by moving this up?
I'm sorry.
I guess I'd ask you, where we're gonna lose them to at one.
Mount Pleasant.
I know, but what's gonna make?
I don't know.
Are you saying that Chapel Hill, Hartsville and Winfield could solicit those students to go to Mount Pleasant rather than come here? Save them money?
They could, but it's not
They
likely
are.
they would.
Could they say?
Or could they say they'll
They're
pay the
recruiting.
$1,200 to go to Mount Pleasant, if you don't go to Chapel Hill, you come out with 300 out of your pocket? Can they do that?
They're not allowed to do
They're
that.
required.
So the kids get the opportunity of where they wanna go.
If the parent says.
Then they can't do anything
that's right.
about that.
If
They're
the
gonna
parent
come.
says, I wanna go to Chapel Hill.
They gotta pay to come to Chapel Hill, so, yeah.
Now, whether they
Then-
encourage them to go to Mount Pleasant. or
Yeah, it makes
things
no
like
di-
that, but no, they
Makes no
can't
difference.
do
We're not
that.
gonna lose those students, and the ones coming are gonna come where they wanna come.
Yes, that's our condition.
So I really feel like you do about what you want to.
I move we accept the recommendation as proposed.
Second?
I do too.
Second it? All in favor? 100%.
Okay, I just thought this was FYI.
Okay, transfers, we gotta do transfers in executive. Gatsby, Jeff?
Okay, what I have for you in your board book. What I have for you in your board book is again the PowerPoint we gave you last week, or last week, we were here last week, last month. This is just an informational, as well again. What I added this time is a breakdown of what our fund balances are as of the August 31st audit. So that's what they were. We had reserve for fund balances, we have them in two categories: retirement of long-term debt for $132,000, and we have reserve for fund balances for food service of $108,000. Unreserved fund balances, which are designated for self-insurance, are $7,824, and that's estimated on a year-end deal that we get from past workers' comp companies that we were not not fully funded. We were partially funded, and we still owe on claims. And there's a schedule out for what they'll be paid. So this is the amount there. So that's designated. And then we have an undesignated reported in general fund of the $1.5 million that we have. And really, this is what we're talking about. But what I wanted to show you is just as an example, if we didn't change anything at all, this is what those fund balances become under the new guidance, GASB 54. As you can see, reserve fund balances for retirement of long-term debt and food service become restricted fund balances. It's just wording. And basically, that's all we're talking about here, is changing the wording of how they want them designated, undesignated, reserved, restricted. So you have both of those as restricted. Then you have assigned fund balances, and that would be our self-insurance, which was unreserved, designated, now just becomes assigned. And then we have unassigned fund balance, and that's what we're really talking about here. These are over next month, this is what we're really gonna break down. There is an auditor, training in which, Laney Walker will go to. Been in contact with him. He would like to refresh on this. The last time he heard about it was last year. This possibility, he wants to refresh on that and kind of give us some guidance of what they're talking about at the state level, the auditors and all accountants are talking about of how they would like to see this done, or basically what we are required to do. So we will have some unassigned fund balance that's required. We have to have some sort of unassigned fund balance. I'm anticipating that to be somewhere around anywhere from 1 to 2 months of bills, which we'll break out and do. And so we'll have that but we also have to keep in mind that amount, whatever we put in unassigned, has to float us for cash flow. We cannot go below that level at any given point in the year without y'all coming to y'all first and y'all relieving us from an assigned balance or a restricted balance. We can't come back, we can't use that. For example, the state comes back and says, we do this in July, August. State comes back and says, oh, well, we're not gonna give you payments for September or October. Well, we're gonna have the cash flow to make that work, or we're going to have to adjust what we just did. So that's some of the guidance we're continually getting. This does not have to be done. No, nothing has to be changed until August 31st, and if we have to take the August 31st for the board meeting in August to do this, we will. This is just some more information, just kind of getting you used to what was reserved will now be restricted. What was unreserved designated will be assigned, and then you have undesignated, unreserved becomes unassigned. There are 2 other categories. There's a committed category, which we very well may get into. We can commit things for debt on the M&O side, where this reported in general fund is. We can commit maybe for some debt. We can assign it for some debt. You can assign it for other things. You can assign it for the new bond you can assign $80,000 to pay that new bond next year. We don't have to use it for that purpose. We can go ahead and budget it in the general fund, but that assigned it, we have 1 year's payment sitting over here assigned for that. And we may never use that assigned balance, but at least it's there, and it's assigned for something, for a particular credit. And it has to be tangible. We can't just throw it over there for, we're gonna restrict this because we think there's gonna be a circus in town in 2 years. You have to have some purposes for it. And there has to be some documentation backing those things up. So, again, this is just informational. If there's any questions on this, I'll send you, next month we'll have some more guidance and we'll give you that. We may be talking about some specifics that we can put this general fund into. And you can call me if you have an idea, hey, what if we did it for this? I can give you, and we can show those to you next time. And also you have the PowerPoint that we have as far as what all the categories are for, things like that. Any questions?
This sounds to me like state's setting it up to where if you don't have things committed for your money, they're gonna consider that free game. Maybe.
That's the feeling.
Is that the feeling?
That's the feeling, but,
Is it supported by anything, or is that just a fear?
It's a fear really right now. There's no legislation that says, okay, well, now the governor has come out and said in this past week that he says that $12 billion is locked up in school fund balances. So why should we touch the rainy day fund at the state level if y'all have all that money sitting there for y'all? He doesn't understand that's not equally distributed.
Right.
Most of the large districts have the bulk of the money. If they did that, they would have to have a plan to do that with. But yes, that's the fear. That is to come up with a plan, a spendable plan, meaning first we spend from a committed category, then we'll spend from an assigned category, and then we'll spend from an unassigned category. We have to still have that plan. So they can say, well, your total fund balances overall are the, $1.75 million, just for example. And it doesn't matter if it's restricted or not, we're sending you that much less money. There's no guidance that they would ever do that. But, I mean, that is a fear that's out there because there's a faction down there that does not want to use the rainy day fund. And they're saying, well, the school districts, the counties, they have these fund balances that you've built up of money that we've given you in the past. You need to be using that now.
We are every month.
And we are, but they're saying at the end of every year that those balances, the past 3 years, it has not grown. But prior to that, it has grown, so they're saying, well, if you're gonna sit on that, why should we delve out at what we have? It's just what they're saying. The governor mainly is saying that.
And he's running for president?
I think so.
Okay.
At some point in the future. Anyway, but if there's not any questions about that, that's basically all the information I want to give you now, just the representation of what it is now and what it will be in the future if we do nothing at all. Of course, we will address everything we have and do the best we can according to the guidelines to take care of our money.
This unassigned, how many months would that represent in our budget?
If we paid for everything, it's close to 3 months. Payroll, I mean, if the state didn't give us any money, it's close
Well,
to 3 months.
my fear is they'll come out and say, anything over 2 months is fair game, or anything over
Very possible.
3 months is fair game.
And that's why we will
Yeah.
set out and say, okay, well, we'll have an unassigned balance of a month and a half.
Okay.
And then everything else, we'll commit for something.
That's what Laney's gonna tell you from his training.
Yes, that's what he's hoping. That's an auditor training. I'm not allowed to go that. I got this training. They have some more in-depth training about the specific categories, uses, what you can and can't do, things like that. So I'm trying to work closely with him just to get all that information.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, Mark.
I have a great news tonight. Called Karen Whitaker at Legion 8, talked about this, and want to just put a whole new spin on systemic planning. We all have time constraints, we all love this district, but there is not full board participation required. It is ideal but not required. Everyone does get level 3 training for any participation in systemic planning that we do. Level 3 training, which is the highest. You can customize the plan. What's great news is then, we're not asking for the whole board to commit. We're saying, money's out there, we have to do systemic planning, we're ready to move forward as administration. Jim, you can assign a subcommittee, you can just say, if anybody's interested in working with the administration, get after it. I mean, this is great. The Freedoms, Karen Whitaker, who is now the head person over there with this, now that Harvey's gone, spoke to her personally. So it's really up to us. I mean, we're ready to move forward. We know that there's lots on our table, lots on our plate, but, budget, everything, people's time. But again, we were looking at this through one lens where it's all or nothing. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. So I guess that's good news. I mean, I'm not really, asking so much for approval as I'm saying, okay, school board members that might say, hey, I'll take the lead. That's something I really want to be a part of. Others may say, great, keep us posted, keep the information rolling. Let's move on with our district needs. So that's good news. I just wanted to kind of put that out there tonight. So that's really, it's more of an informational item now. Because, it's been 5 years since we've been to the church and whatnot, and it is time. And with the new testing and STAR and all of these things, we know we've got a lot of budget concerns, but we've got a lot of instructional concerns and a lot of, what are our needs as we move forward. So I think that takes a lot of pressure off because I could, sense in past meetings it's saying, hey, you're making it sound like we've got to give our lives to this thing. Well, we don't. That's coming from Karen Whitaker, who's at Region 8, who is pretty much gonna be one of our lead people that we're gonna sit down and talk with. So that's another completely,
This is something, aren't you guys already doing training? This is it,
We've done some small components of it. They have some online stuff that we can do for like our campus improvement plan and stuff like that. But we haven't stepped off into it, because I think we talked about it back in September or so, and y'all said y'all wanted to hold off. It really starts with the board. That's where Region 8 wants to start, because they believe that until the board is on board, lack of a better term, then when you start hitting roadblocks as you're working through it, if you don't have that support from the top, you're gonna have some issues. Like if you're trying to change, a teacher that's been here a really long time and they're just doing their own thing, and the principal starts challenging that teacher to fall in line with the system, yet she's got support in the community and the board's not online with it, and then the principal's kind of his legs are cut out from underneath him, then it kind of ruins the systemic approach. Does that make sense?
that is
The theme behind it.
that's right.
So,
But
that's
that-
why they start with y'all. They give us a couple of things to start working with, or with some tools to use, but it really starts with the board and the support of the board, and then once that's garnered and approved, then we move forward from there.
I just remember when we had that meeting, y'all were saying you were already working some of those things.
Yeah, it's little things, and we're already doing some of that stuff without Region 8, but it's satellite.
Right.
It's satellite. It's individual campuses doing individual things.
I see.
So the whole thing behind it being systemic is that we're all doing it.
Yeah, I was just trying to refresh.
Yeah. But I think the last time we talked about it, y'all said y'all wanted to see more of what the legislature was gonna do with finance and stuff like that.
And I guess what I'm saying is, we would like it to be, but if it can't, then I don't think that should stop everything. And I understand ideally where they're coming from, and in a perfect world, that's great. But I don't know, I mean, we have lots of communication here, so there might be some folks that say, hey, I'd like to give more of my time to that. And others serve in other capacities, and so that way you get the best of both worlds. And I agree with Brandon, the point he made, and again, in a perfect umbrella, but I mean, there's a lot going on right now, on a lot of different fronts. But this is an important piece, and we need to move forward strategically, systemically, and there's a vehicle there, and money and dollars that have been paid, and there is a support piece at Region 8 that's ready to help.
So what do we?
I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is, it's there. We want to make you aware. We want to move forward. I guess we want your blessing in that sense, but don't know how the board wants to step off with administration from this. Maybe 1 or 2 people, 3 people, a subcommittee,
I just really, felt like the things they talked about were important for us right now, just from the standpoint of where we are, that we need help trying to move forward with a lot of things, just because there's a lot of fear and anxiety out there, and it just seems like this, looking at it from a systemic approach, kind of helps alleviate some of that. So, this just was my opinion.
Is there any interest in any board members of being participatory in what Mark's talking about?
I mean, I'd be glad to get into it.
I'm interested.
You're interested in?
I like to talk about the system planning approach. I like it on a corporate level,
Mhm.
and we did it at the school level. And I felt like some things that resonated with me, certainly when taking that perspective. And if we're gonna set goals and have a plan to move forward, I like the idea of the plan being, that you don't have, that it's the same all the way down through, and it becomes a culture over a period of time. And they talked about it, it's a long process,
Mhm.
but that when everybody's looking back at the same plan, then everybody's working in the same direction, rather than individual. So I like it a lot. And if it's a deal where 2 or 3 of us are involved, then great.
And I know he's not here, and I'm not saying this because he's not here, but John did say he would serve in that capacity.
He and I talked about it, and he
Okay.
had interest, and I don't know what that means, exactly what it's doing. But if we want to do a split
approach them. And it's just something that if you want to be involved in, I think it's good for us. But I would be willing to do part of it if I was in.
Well, the only commitment I would want from it is that you three guys would come back and give us monthly reports on it. So we could have an idea of what's going on and continue to have buy-in on it.
Just keep the communication going.
Yeah. I don't have any problem with that. Deb? You guys have any problem with that?
Anybody else, I mean, it's not closed to 2 or 3, but
No,
No.
again,
Anybody can do that.
at any point, at any level, I mean,
Well,
if anybody wanted to
and
train.
you may have some rotating people. They may not have enough time to do it, and maybe I'll jump in there for 2 or 3 months to see what's going on.
we'll do that.
That's why I'm saying you need to keep us all up to date, so that we have a working knowledge of what's going on. I mean, that would be able to get our foot in the door and get us started in the process. You know, if all 3 of you guys get gung-ho on it, you may convince us all to jump in there. All right, let's see what then. All right, we have things that we have to talk about in executive session because we're not allowed by law to talk about them in open session. So who are we gonna need in executive session? Oh, wait a minute, budget shortfall analysis? That doesn't have to be an executive, does it?
Well, it doesn't.
No,
even start
unless
with
you're talking about
anything.
personnel.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
are though.
I think so. Well, you've got some names on there. I mean, that's up to you all. You all got that information, you can look right at it. I just thought you wanted to look at
Well,
what was
it'd
in
be
there.
easier to talk about it openly. All right, so that means that, who do we want in here for, wait a minute, transfers? Let's do the transfers first, we can get rid of the principals, and then we can do the rest of that. All right,
Closed, open,
we're gonna go into closed,
right now, okay.
but we're still gonna need the principals.